Hello, I'm Ryan F9 and that is not a bike. It's a trike, and it's very important one at that actually. It's a Can Am Spyder F3-S, which is sort of going to be their new platform for pretty much everything. The old RS, the sport one, the ST, the touring one, and it's all going to be based on this moving forward, everything except for the big tours. So now this is big. This is big for Can Am, and this is big for Valcour, which is where I am. It's where the Spyder was born or hatched or whatever Spyders do. So what do we have? It's like a sport cruiser type design. So we have the forward foot pegs of a cruiser. We have the cup seat of a cruiser. But then we have sport bike power, Rotax 1,330cc engine, and a bit of sport bike styling, air scoops and all that sort of aggressive looking stuff. So it's a sport cruiser. Essentially, it's a Ducati Diable, pretty much. Except, of course, it has 3 wheels and a trunk, like that. 25.5 liters or 24.4, something like that. Not as big as on previous Can-Ams, but big enough for my lunch, big enough for my camera bag, big enough for a full-face helmet. It's big enough to humanely keep a guppy fish, actually. And it is watertight, so maybe I could get away with that. All right, let's hit it. Mode. Go. Woo! Makes a beautiful sound. Parking brake. That's new. All right, let's do it. Woo! So you can drift this thing for a minute, as I just did there. It's really easy on gravel. On dirt or on pavement, not so much. Woo! Oh! Oh, sweet. So it'll let you drift for a minute before the electric nanny kicks in. You can't turn the nanny off, the ABS, the traction control, whatever, and that's a shame because she's kind of a hard-nosed bitch. Shuts down the fun really quick. The drifting and the wheel lifting like this, if you kind of... Oh, that didn't work. Let's try again. Yeah, there we go. If you surprise the computer with a sudden handlebar jerk, you can kind of get it to lift a wheel and cock a leg, but again, the nanny shuts it down pretty darn quick. Okay, so riding this thing right off the bat, I'm going to notice a couple things. One of them is that it feels beautiful. I mean, everything, the plastics, the metal, the screen, the dashboard, it has so many things on it, and look at all these buttons over here that do many things. Everything seems very well made. Rotax engine, Brembo brakes, Fox podium, Sachs monoshock, ABS, traction control, stability control, cruise control. Over here, have an eco mode, tell me when to upshift. It's all just very nice. It feels nice, and that engine makes a hell of a noise, so that's cool. And I wasn't really expecting that from BRP, being a bit of a smaller manufacturer, but it feels really good. The other thing that you notice right away is this is not a bike. Everything that I think I know about riding a motorcycle does not come into play here. I mean, right off the bat, counter steering, right? I turn the handlebars, whoa, okay, and it goes the exact opposite way as I would expect a motorcycle to go when I counter steer. Same with brakes, go to grab the front brake. Ah! There is no front brake. I have to go down here. All 3 wheels are braked by a single foot pedal, so that's new. And most Can-Ams are semi-automatic as well, which would be totally different. But that would have been a bit too much for me, so I opted for this standard version, which has the clutch. The gearbox is good. It's precise. Haven't hit any false neutrals and all that stuff. But the clutch pull is really heavy. So if I were to do it again, I don't know, maybe I would get the automatic. My hand gets really tired in traffic using this clutch. But so that's that. What does it feel like to ride? Well, as soon as you stop thinking motorcycle and stop thinking car and start thinking snowmobile, it's actually very easy to ride fast. It makes sense. The cornering feel is insane. I mean, through the handlebars, it's like an encyclopedia of information about the road. Every crack, every bump, every dip, who poured it, when they poured it, what kind of day they were having. I know everything about the concrete just by the feel coming through these handlebars. It's really good. The corner is just like a sport bike. Super fun, actually, to ride. It is tiring, though. That's one thing I noticed really quick. Because it corners flat, you know, I don't transfer all that G-force into the seat. Instead, it gets transferred to my legs, and it gets transferred to my arms through the handlebars. So you gotta work really hard to actually keep driving this thing quickly. It's a lot of work, and it's tiring. It has this thing called dynamic power steering, which basically means that I get a lot of power assisted steering when I'm like going slow in a parking lot, but when I'm ripping it, I don't really get any, and that's why the feedback and the tight, twitchy feel on the handlebars is so good for the corners. But it means that I'm have to doing a lot of work. You know, if the road's slanted or if it's bumpy, or even just right now, I'm constantly fighting the handlebars trying to rein it in, and without the full power steering helping me out, that means I'm doing a lot of work. So it is quite tiring to ride quick. Is it fast? Well, I don't know, not really. I mean, that engine, it makes 115 horsepower, which is not that much for an engine that's like 1.3 liters. It does turn out 130 newton meters of torque, woo! Which is a lot. So it does get off pretty quick off the line, especially with a massive rear sprocket and a big fat rear tire. But yeah, it's not that fast, you know? I mean, again, if I kick it down a gear shift, or let's go down a couple. So down low here, it grunts pretty good. The mid-range power is where it really kicks in. Very exciting in the mid-range. When you get up top, up high, like up in here, 6,000, 7,000 RPM, it kind of runs out of puff, to be honest. And in the end, it's actually, run, squirrel, run. It's actually not that fast. But it does feel fast most of the time because you spend most of the time in that low to mid-range where it is actually quite good. So yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Again, still tiring to ride on the straightaways. You never really have rest riding this thing. Woo! Oh, that nanny is killing me though. I mean, if you brake and turn the thing at the same time, like try trail braking, and the extra nanny just kicks in and totally kills your exit speed on the corners. It's a real shame. Now, what else can I say about this thing? One thing that sort of surprised me is that it doesn't actually make me feel any safer. You know, I thought I'd feel safe on this thing having 3 wheels, and yeah, I mean, I can't low or high side it. You know, if I pop a tire or whatever, I'm not gonna get chucked to the ground, but I don't actually feel that much safer. I mean, yes, it's bigger too, it's more visible, but because it's so wide, I mean, it really kills my escape routes on the highway. There's no way to quickly dart between traffic or whatever and get out of a tight spot, and so that kind of spooks me out. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it's more dangerous than a motorcycle, but it doesn't really make me feel that much safer anyway. I'd say it's about the same in terms of danger. I certainly wouldn't base a decision off that. The other thing that I really noticed riding this is you gotta have some thick skin to ride a Spyder, because people are dicks. I mean, I drive around on this thing, I wave at everyone because I'm used to that, being a motorcyclist, but you wave at people on this and like no one's gonna wave at you back. But people are jerks. I mean, they just like, a lot of people hate Spyders, and I guess I kind of get that, you know, but I mean, to hate the person that's on it, that's just kind of a dick move. So yeah, you gotta have some thick skin to ride one of these. And the other thing, the last thing probably I'm gonna talk about is the tailor-made Brembo brakes. Brembo purposefully made the brakes especially for Spyders, and they are good. We'll see if I can, is this gonna be like some kind of cul-de-sac? Yeah, it is. I'll do it on the way down then. Oh no, this will be fine. So I'll show you what I mean. The brakes are nauseatingly fast. Come up here and... oh, that's nauseatingly quick. Like, I actually feel sick now from hitting the brake that hard. So, I really do want to love this car, bike, Frankenstein monster thing because it is Canadian, but I don't really know what to make of it yet. I'll let you know next week.